The stars flickered faintly through the smog of interstellar debris. The galaxy's outer rim was no place for tourists, yet that's exactly where Zara found herself, curious, defiant, and dangerously naive. As the daughter of one of the Elderly High Council's most influential members, she was expected to study, not explore. But the map she found in the ruins of the Carex archives whispered something else entirely, a myth about a war-torn planet, isolated for centuries, home to creatures of flesh and fury. The planet was Earth. Zara landed at dusk. Her vessel, a light-frame skimmer, hissed as it descended through the thick cloud cover and touched down on cracked, rust-colored soil. Her boots crunched as she stepped out. There was no welcoming committee, no breathable atmosphere, and no evidence of intelligent life. Just silence, broken by the occasional groan of shifting tectonic plates far below. She adjusted her translator patch and scanned the horizon. According to the fragments she'd pieced together, Earth had been severed from the rest of the galaxy after the spiral conflict. Humans were deemed too volatile. But that's what fascinated her. Why exile an entire species unless they were truly something different? Then, a movement. Sharp. Quick. Behind the remains of a shattered building half swallowed by vines and moss. Zara tensed. Before she could react, a figure emerged. It was humanoid, tall, limping slightly, with blood running down one arm. He didn't look like any alien hybrid she'd studied. He looked pure, raw, human. Their eyes met. Zara took a step back instinctively. He was covered in dust and grit, face half-shadowed, but his eyes locked onto her with such intensity that she forgot to breathe. Then he collapsed. His name was Cole. He woke up hours later inside her ship. Zara had stabilized his vitals but couldn't figure out the extent of his injuries. His bones were bent at wrong angles, dislocated or shattered, and his skin was bruised, torn. She tried to inject a regenerative serum into his bloodstream, but his body rejected it like poison. He groaned, sat up slowly, and looked at her. "Don't touch me again," he said, voice gravelly. Zara blinked, startled. "I just saved your life." "Then you should have let me die." The way he said it made her stomach twist. He reached for his arm, yanked it sharply, and with a guttural growl, popped the bone back into place. A grinding sound followed as he twisted his wrist, realigning tendons and ligaments like someone snapping puzzle pieces back together. Zara turned pale. What are you doing?" He didn't answer. He moved on to his knee. It was completely dislocated. He grabbed a metal rod from her toolkit and used it as leverage, biting down on a rag. With a sickening crack, the knee joint clicked into place. She felt her legs wobble. Then everything went black. Zara fainted. When she came to, she was lying on a cushioned bench in the ship's cockpit, with a cloth on her forehead. Cole sat opposite her, now fully upright, cleaning dried blood from his knuckles. "What the hell are you?" she whispered. "Just a man." He didn't look up. "No one can do what you did. Your bones were broken. And now they're not." He finally met her gaze. "You're not from here. I'm elderly." He scoffed. "Figures. You've got the arrogance." She bristled. "You're awfully bitter for someone I rescued. You're trespassing." "I came to learn." "No one learns anything here. They survive. Or they don't." His words weren't bravado. They carried a weight she couldn't ignore. "Tell me what happened to Earth," she said softly. Cole's jaw tightened. He looked out the viewport. "You don't want that story." "I do." He stood slowly and limped to the control console. "You ever heard of the Codex Protocol?" Zara nodded. It was a galactic initiative to neutralize unstable civilizations. "My people say Earth was one of the first targets." "That's the pretty version." "Then give me the real one." Cole leaned against the console. "When the war broke out, Earth refused to submit. The High Council gave us one choice: surrender or be cut off. We chose neither. We fought. Every man, woman, and child. And when the Council saw we wouldn't kneel, they hit us with the quarantine array. No tech, no trade, no off-world access." Zara swallowed. "How did you survive?" "We adapted. Earth became hell. But humans, we're good in hell." There was no pride in his voice. Just truth. Stark, unwavering truth. Days passed. Zara stayed. Cole tried to push her away, warned her that others wouldn't be as forgiving. But curiosity anchored her. She watched how he moved, how pain didn't slow him down. His body was a map of old wounds and fresh scars, yet he fought through every step like he'd made a pact with death itself. They scavenged together. She learned to breathe with a filtration mask, learned how to move without making a sound. Earth wasn't just dangerous. It was alive. The ecosystem had evolved, mutated. Trees with acidic sap. Birds with metallic feathers. Insects that moved like liquid mercury. One night, as they camped under a fractured moon, Zara asked, "Do you hate us?" Cole didn't answer right away. He tossed a piece of dried meat into the fire. "I hate what your people did. But you? I don't know you yet." Zara looked at him, eyes searching. "Why did you save me, then? When I fainted. You could have left. I don't leave people behind." Another silence. Then, thunder. Not from the sky, from beneath the ground. Cole shot up. "We need to move. Now." "Why?" He didn't explain. Just grabbed his pack and pulled her to her feet. As they ran, the ground trembled. A dull rumble became a roar. Zara looked back. Then she saw it. Something massive was surfacing from the broken crust like a worm, but plated in armor. Its head was a mess of mandibles and eyes that glowed red in the dark. She froze. Cole turned, saw her rooted to the spot. "Zara, run." But it was too late. The creature lunged. Cole tackled her, rolled them both down a slope. The beast missed by inches. They landed hard, breath knocked out of their lungs. The creature roared again, then retreated into the ground as suddenly as it had appeared. Zara coughed, heart pounding. What was that?" Cole looked grim. "A harrower. One of the many gifts your council left behind when they tried to sterilize this planet." Her mind spun. "You still think you came here to study?" he asked. Zara couldn't answer. Because for the first time since landing, she wasn't sure. She might have come to understand humans. But now, she realized this wasn't about understanding. This was survival. And she wasn't ready. Not yet. The rain came down in sheets, fat droplets sizzling as they hit Zara's ship's outer hull. Inside, the flickering lights struggled to stay on, power drained by the storm's magnetic interference. She sat on the edge of her cot, trembling. Not from cold, but from the echo of the harrower's scream still lodged in her ears. Cole had been silent since they got back. He was in the cargo bay, methodically cleaning and reloading a rifle that looked like it had been welded together from 5 different centuries of technology. Zara watched him from the doorway, hesitating to speak. "How often do those things show up?" "Depends," he muttered without looking up. "Sometimes once a month. Sometimes twice in a day. They're territorial. Drawn by vibration. Energy signatures. Noise." Her voice cracked. "You think it followed me?" "It followed the ship." Zara folded her arms tightly across her chest. "I didn't know. I didn't mean to bring danger to you." Cole clicked a magazine into place and finally looked at her. "This entire planet is danger. You just turned up the volume." She flinched at the truth in his words. But he didn't say it to hurt her. He said it because she needed to hear it. He stood. "Tomorrow, we move the ship. Too much attention on this location now. Where will we go?" "There's an old bunker half a day's hike east. Used to be a science outpost before the shutoff. Might still be secure." Zara's eyes narrowed. "Why help me? You don't trust me. You didn't even want me here." Cole holstered the rifle. "You're here now. And whatever you were before, that doesn't matter anymore." The next morning, they left at first light. Zara struggled to keep up with Cole's pace, even though he was the one limping. Her boots weren't made for terrain like this: razor-sharp stone fields, thorn thickets with translucent vines that whispered when touched. Every so often, she'd glance at Cole, wondering how a man so wounded could move like a predator. It wasn't long before they hit their first obstacle, a collapsed overpass blocking the path. Cole stopped. "We climb." Zara stared up. Climb. That's nearly vertical. Welcome to Earth. He scrambled up like it was nothing. Zara followed, less gracefully, hands slipping, legs burning. Halfway up, her foot caught on a broken steel beam. She cried out, losing her grip. Cole reached down, grabbing her wrist in one powerful grip. For a second, their eyes locked, his face calm, hers wide with fear. Then he hauled her up like she weighed nothing. Breathing hard, she sat beside him. Thanks. Cole nodded, scanning the horizon. We're close. Another hour. Zara swallowed hard. How did your people survive like this? He didn't answer at first. Then, we didn't. Not all of us. Not even most. They kept moving. The bunker was buried under vines and debris. If not for Cole's uncanny sense of direction, they never would have found it. He cleared a panel and typed in a sequence on an ancient keypad. The door groaned and slid open, revealing stale air and flickering lights. Inside, the walls were scorched, wires dangling. But it was intact. Sort of. This used to be a monitoring station, Cole explained. For atmospheric anomalies. Later converted for shelter. Zara touched the wall gently. How long since someone's been here? Long enough for the AI core to degrade. We'll have to reboot it manually. They worked in silence. Cole handled the systems. Zara translated old Elderly code etched into the panels. It surprised him. You can read ancient Terran script. Elderly scholars preserve fragments of forbidden tongues. I wasn't supposed to study them. But I did. He smirked faintly. Rebellious princess. Zara shot him a look. You're lucky I'm here, or that door wouldn't have opened. Their banter was rough, uneasy, but it was the first time she'd seen a trace of a smile on his face. Once power returned, the lights steadied. The main room hummed to life, and a holographic display flickered on, showing archived data, geological shifts, fauna migration patterns, and most disturbingly, heat signatures of massive underground movement. Zara traced the patterns with her fingers. Those things, they're spreading. Cole nodded grimly. The Harrowers were bred in council labs during the conflict. Bioweapons. Then they lost control. You mean, this planet was a testing ground? It was a punishment. Zara's stomach turned. Her people had done this. Not some rogue faction. The High Council. You didn't deserve this, she said softly. He looked at her. No one does. That night, Zara couldn't sleep. She wandered the bunker corridors, lost in thought. Everything she'd been taught about humans being unstable, unworthy of contact, was unraveling. Cole wasn't a savage. He was scarred, yes, but there was discipline in him. Strength. Pain buried so deep it had turned to steel. She found him in the command room, staring at an old photo embedded in the wall. A family. Parents and 2 children. Is that you? She asked. He didn't move. It was. Zara stepped closer. What happened? Raiders. Same year the satellites fell. We had food. They didn't. End of story. Her throat tightened. I'm sorry. I buried them. Then kept walking. Zara reached out, placing a hand on his shoulder. He didn't shrug it off. I want to help, she said. Cole turned to face her. Help? How? This isn't a diplomatic crisis, Zara. It's extinction. One species abandoned on a death world, crawling toward oblivion. Then let me change that. Let me speak to the council. He laughed bitterly. You think they'll listen to one girl? I'm not just anyone. My father is on the high table. If I show them what's happened here, what they caused, maybe I can force a hearing. Cole shook his head. They won't let you leave. I'm not asking permission. The silence that followed was thunderous. Then an alarm. A red light blinked on the console. Movement. Not a harrower this time. Something smaller. Something sentient. Cole read the display. Scanners just picked up 3 figures. Closing in. Zara moved beside him. More survivors. He grabbed his rifle. Not the kind you're hoping for. Outside, distant footsteps echoed across the stones. Raiders. And they were almost here. The bunker's stale air thickened as the low hum of the alarm merged with the distant sound of approaching boots, gravel crunching beneath soles, deliberate and unhurried. Raiders didn't run. They hunted. Cole handed Zara a sidearm. She hesitated. I've never fired one. Now's a good time to learn. He moved with purpose, silent, sure, guiding her behind a supply cabinet just off the main corridor. Then he took position near the entrance, rifle raised. Zara's heart thudded against her ribs like it wanted out. The first raider appeared in the doorway. Leather armor, eyes like a jackal's, a jagged blade slung across his back. He wasn't alone. 2 more followed, one with a plasma spear, another holding a crude shocknet device. Power's back on, one of them growled. Means someone's home. Zara held her breath. Cole didn't move. Think it's another Skaven crew, said the tall one. Nah. Different energy. Smells like elderly tech. The third raider sneered. A council girl, maybe. That'd fetch a prize. Zara's fingers tightened around the grip of the sidearm. Then the lead raider stepped forward right onto a pressure plate. A deafening asterisk snap hiss asterisk split the air. A rigged charge exploded beneath his feet, sending him flying into the far wall with a wet crack. The others panicked. Cole didn't. He sprang from cover, rifle barking fire. One raider went down with a shot to the chest. The last dove for cover, but Zara, breathing hard, lined up her trembling aim and fired. The bolt clipped his shoulder. He screamed, spun and caught Cole's boot in his face. It was over in seconds. The bodies lay still. Smoke curled up from the detonator. Zara leaned against the wall, panting. Did I just? Yeah, Cole said. You did. She wiped her face with a shaking hand. I think I'm going to be sick. You can do that later. We need to move. They packed quickly, stashing gear and salvaging anything useful from the raiders. Cole found a data stick tucked in the boot of the one Zara shot. He plugged it into a terminal. Lines of encrypted code scrolled across the screen. What is it? She asked. Cole's eyes darkened. Coordinates. Supply cache. But more importantly, a transmission log. He tapped a sequence. A distorted voice filled the room. Unit 09 requesting extraction. Package confirmed, elderly female. Repeat, elderly female confirmed planetside. Relay to Central. Awaiting orders. Zara's blood went cold. They know I'm here. Not just them, Cole said. The message didn't come from Earth. It was outbound. Her stomach turned. The council. Someone's tipped them off. Which means they'll be coming. Not to help. To clean up. A heavy silence fell between them. Then, Cole looked at her, jaw set. You still want to go back? Zara nodded. More than ever. Then we better beat them to the relay station. Their journey took them through the bone plains, vast stretches of bleached stone where nothing grew, and the wind never stopped howling. Zara's legs ached, but she didn't complain. Not anymore. Her face was sunburned, scratched. But her eyes were sharp now. Focused. Cole moved like a shadow. Ever vigilant. He barely slept. Zara knew why. The message meant more raiders would come. Or worse, council recon units. At night, they camped under broken satellites and burnt out husks of ancient defense turrets. Cole told her stories of what Earth used to be, before it was condemned. Of cities that touched the sky. Of music. Of oceans that sparkled under the moon. Zara listened with tears in her eyes. I want to see it, she whispered. You're looking at it, he said. The pieces that are left. But it could be more. Cole didn't answer. He didn't have to. By the third day, they reached the edge of a ruined city once called Nova Detroit. Now, it was a graveyard of skyscrapers bowed by time, their metal frames groaning in the wind. At its heart was a spire, thin, angled, and still faintly glowing. The relay, Cole said. We send your message from there. They approached cautiously. Signs of recent movement littered the area. Footprints. Burn marks. Empty ration packs. Zara checked her scanner. There's someone inside. Cole raised his rifle. Then we clear it. They entered through a broken maintenance shaft, crawling past rusted pipes and hanging cables. The relay's main chamber was on the 18th floor. They took the stairs. Each level was a tomb, offices left in chaos, nature creeping in through shattered windows. Zara felt the weight of history pressing on her. These weren't just ruins. They were memories. At the 17th floor, they heard voices. Cole motioned for silence. They crept to the edge of the stairwell. Two figures were talking inside the comms room. One wore elderly battle armor. Zara's breath caught. "A scout," she whispered. "They sent one already." The other was human, but gaunt, with cybernetic implants flickering along his spine. "A traitor. A collaborator." Cole grimaced. "They've been making deals." The elderly scout spoke. "Once the girl is retrieved, we burn everything. No traces." Zara's heart pounded. Cole's expression didn't change. He whispered, "We flank them. I go high, you move in after." She nodded. No hesitation now. Cole climbed silently along the scaffolding outside the hallway. Zara counted to 10, then stepped into the corridor, making noise. The scout turned. "Who?" Cole crashed through the window above, tackling him mid-sentence. The traitor drew a sidearm, but Zara shot first, clean, centered. The blast threw him into the console. Sparks flew. The relay screen flickered wildly. Cole wrestled with the scout, finally slamming him against a pipe. The man crumpled. Zara rushed to the console. "I can still send the signal." "Hurry," Cole said. "Before the backup team shows." She entered her code council override sequence, embedded into her DNA. The interface scanned her retina. Verified. Recording message, it chimed. Zara looked into the lens, voice trembling but fierce. "This is Zara Talcine, daughter of High Table Minister Veyrin. I am on Earth. The planet is not uninhabited. It is not lost. You lied to us. I've seen the truth. If you destroy this world, you destroy your last chance for redemption. Recall the extraction order. Hear this plea before you erase everything." She ended the transmission. Sent it. Then the console beeped. Signal intercepted. Zara's face drained of color. They blocked it. "No," Cole said slowly. "Someone else received it. Not the council." She looked at him. He pointed to the screen. "A private receiver. Off-grid. And they're replying." The screen flared. A face appeared. A woman, scarred but regal, with the insignia of the old Earth Coalition behind her. "I don't know who you are," she said, "but if you're alive and telling the truth, you just woke up the wrong kind of ghosts." Cole exhaled, eyes narrowing. "Looks like Earth's not finished yet." They didn't sleep that night. Not with Earth waking up. The woman who answered their signal, Commander Rail, had been part of a long-buried resistance network. Hidden in the polar wastelands, off council scanners. She confirmed it in the simplest words imaginable. "We're still here. And we've been waiting." Zara sat in stunned silence. The history she had been taught all her life, the destruction, the extinction, the madness of Earth's final war, it had all been filtered, altered, sanitized. There hadn't been annihilation. There had been resistance. Survival. And then, silence, forced by the High Council. Cole watched her, arms folded. "Still want to go back?" She shook her head slowly. "Not yet. Not like this." Rail's transmission detailed an extraction route. If Zara and Cole could reach the Resistance's western outpost, they'd be safe. And, more importantly, they could regroup. Plan. Zara's message, though intercepted, had still echoed. Not through the Council, but among the scattered, forgotten children of Earth. And now, those children were coming home. The journey to the western cliffs was brutal. Harrower nests sprawled across the plains like rotting fungi. Raiders became more aggressive, possibly tipped off by the same transmission. Cole and Zara had to move undercover, travel at night, use the wind and wreckage to hide their heat signatures. But something had changed between them. They didn't speak much. They didn't have to. Where once there was tension, now there was trust. Real, hard-earned trust. Zara held her weapon like she was born with it. She no longer hesitated. And Cole, who had long buried hope beneath years of loss, found himself watching her when she wasn't looking. Not with suspicion, but with something he thought he'd lost: belief. By the 6th day, they reached the edge of the western cliffs. Rael's outpost was hidden within the mountain. A camouflaged blast door scanned their identities. When Zara stepped forward, it paused, then opened with a hiss of depressurized air. Dozens waited inside. Humans. Some with scars like Cole's. Others with synthetic limbs. A few wore elderly armor stripped and repurposed. They were soldiers, engineers, teachers, survivors. And they looked at Zara like she was the first sunrise in a century. Rael approached, clasping Cole's shoulder first. "You've done well," she said. Then she turned to Zara. "You crossed the stars to find us. Now help us finish what they tried to erase." Zara didn't hesitate. "I will." The next few days passed in a blur. Zara recorded more transmissions, undeniable proof of Earth's survivors, of the High Council's crimes, of the harrowers still crawling beneath the surface. Rael's engineers piggybacked her signal through black market satellites, sending it far beyond what Council scanners could trace. And this time, the stars listened. First came silence. Then came unrest. Factions within the Council began to fracture. Other worlds, long resentful of elderly arrogance, demanded answers. Protesters flooded capital forums. Scholars released buried documents Zara had smuggled from the relay station. Zara's father, once revered, was forced into public hearings. He denied everything. Until a final message aired across every known channel. Cole stood beside her in the video. He spoke plainly. "No one asked Earth if we wanted a war. No one offered peace. You left us to rot. And still, we lived. You want to talk about instability? Look in a mirror." Zara followed him. "We are not monsters. We are not myths. We are human. And we are coming back. Not for revenge. For justice." That message changed everything. A year passed. Zara remained on Earth. By choice. She worked alongside Rael and Cole, helping rebuild what could be salvaged. Teaching, training, unifying. More and more Council worlds broke ranks. The truth had sparked something far more powerful than any weapon. Accountability. A tribunal was formed. The High Council was dismantled. And for the first time in generations, Earth rejoined the galactic network. But not as a threat. As an equal. Zara stood with Cole on the edge of the western cliffs, overlooking what had once been a barren plain. Now, wind turbines turned slowly. Crops grew in repurposed solar farms. Laughter echoed from distant shelters. She turned to him. "Do you still hate us?" Cole thought for a long moment. Then he shook his head. "No. Not anymore." She smiled. He added, "But I still think you talk too much." She laughed. "That's fair." They stood there together, two people who should have been enemies, watching a world once left for dead rise again. *** the moral, ***. Truth, no matter how long it's buried, always finds a way to surface. And when it does, it can change everything. Even hearts. Even worlds. Even the future. Earth didn't need saving. It just needed someone to believe it was worth saving.